And first of all, I must apologise to those of you that watch the show. If you just listen, if you've never watched it, you can always watch it by going to UnitedKingdomTalk.tv. But on the last show, you may have noticed that the camera wasn't quite positioned correctly, was it? And you could see how the picture hangs from the ceiling, and indeed what's after the little black drape that I've got next to me. Now, the idea of that was we've had a couple of emails in from people that wanted to see how it actually looks like in this room without showing you around it. So that's why the camera was positioned slightly off centre on the last show, so that people could see the drab that's all around me, and the only bit you see is the bit that's been all brushed up specially for you. Well, that's the official reason. Actually, James Dean told me to say that. I can't lie to you. Try as I might. It's honest, Chris won't allow me to lie to you, boys and girls. It was James Dean. Oh, why don't you say this and con the people? I just can't do it. I just can't do it. There you are, watching. No one watches James Dean, of course. But there you are, listening to James Dean and him coming out with all these sayings and all this business on his programme. He hosts matineeshow.co.uk, all right, matineeshow.co.uk, and he rings me up and he says, why don't you lie to them and tell them... I can't do it. I can't do it. The real reason is I didn't set the camera properly. That's the real reason. There you go. I feel so much better. Honesty is always the best policy, don't you think? Anyway, camera set up nicely today, thank you very much. Those of you listening will want to know. I'm sure you do want to know, don't you? Do you want to know these bits? And you see, if you just listen, I think sometimes you've got an advantage to just listening, because you can close your eyes and imagine I look better than I actually do. And imagine that perhaps the whole video experience is a little bit better than it actually is. Now, if I told you that in front of me today, if you're listening and not watching, I'm going to tell you, in front of me today is the most marvellous, beautiful arrangement of expensive flowers just sitting up. Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes, those of you just listening, right? Imagine me sitting in the middle in a black leather chair, dressed in a blue and white striped shirt, with just the little top button undone. There's no tie, okay? To the right of me are my expensive artefacts, all displayed carefully in a beautiful crystal cabinet. Beautiful, all lit up in pink and blue and yellow and green. Expensive plates hanging on there, beautiful pictures of the Queen and collectible little items there. A silver candelabra. And on the other side of me, so that's on your right, I have a very, very exquisite arrangement of tropical flowers, cut carefully, positioned in a... I mean, I can barely see... You can, if you're watching, you can barely see me through the amount of beautiful flowers that are sitting next to me. And then next to that is a massive arrangement of orchids. And they're 6 foot tall, these orchids. And directly behind me is a mirror ball. And then behind me, the Mona Lisa hangs. The original Mona Lisa, which I have borrowed from the French Louvre Museum. So there you are, listeners. You see, you missed that by not watching. Of course, if you are watching the show, you'll know that was a complete bunch of lies. And the only bit that I was telling the truth was the revolving mirror ball behind me. The flowers, okay, well, they're quite nice anyway. They're 4 little sunflowers that I bought from the supermarket a couple of days ago, and they look very nice. Although I have to say they're nowhere near as big as the sunflower in my garden at the moment. It's massive, massive. And the beauty of the sunflowers, I've got 5 very tall sunflowers in the garden. The smallest one When I say the smallest one in height has now opened. And I don't know if it's me, but the head of it, you know, the head bit with the seeds and the beautiful yellow petals around it, that's been open now for about 10 days. Is it me, or is that head getting bigger? I'm sure it's getting much bigger. Excuse me. I'm sure it's getting much bigger, the head of the flower. Anyway, the one next to it has also now opened. And the reason I know that I think the head's getting bigger is because the one next to it hasn't got such a big head. Really. I don't know if I want to cut that off, actually, and bring it up here. No, I mean, it would spoil it, wouldn't it? I've only got 5 in the garden. The other 3 have not opened yet. Now, this is the strange thing. The sunflowers are on opposite ends of the garden. Okay, sort of the front and the back. Not the front garden, the front of the back garden and the back of the back garden, if you follow what I'm saying. And there's 2 that have now opened. They're at the back of the garden, and they're very tall. They're about 7 foot high, and they've both opened, right? The other 3 are at the front of the back garden. Now, those ones are about another foot taller, with the one in the middle being about 1.5 foot taller. So it's very interesting that they've decided to grow one very, very tall sunflower right in the middle, which must be 8.5 foot high, and the 2 either side of it are about 8 foot high. And it's almost as if they wanted to come up symmetrically. But the interesting fact is, where those sunflowers were planted is where my Tiny, my cat, who died in January, is where her ashes are scattered or buried. Isn't that strange? And I know people would... some people listening would probably laugh at that. But it does make you wonder, doesn't it? If that little old cat has pushed up those flowers just a little bit more. Huh? Your thoughts on that, please, and a warm welcome along. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Hello, my name's Chris Reardon. I'm with you for just under an hour, 3 times a week, in our 3 times a week talk show, United Kingdom Talk. The main site for the show you'll find at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. There's also a postal address if you ever want to write in, and I shall give that to you in a second, okay, after our next little bit. By the way, I've got a blue and white shirt on. I'm a bit concerned I had the same shirt on the last show, is that right? Well, I don't wash them in between shows, dear. Good God. All that energy just to wash a shirt. I suppose if I wear the shirt for about an hour and then I put it away and then it comes out again for another show, I suppose I wash them every few shows. That's all right, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. It does smell a bit under the arms. What are yours like at the moment? Are you at work or anything like that? I don't know. No, it doesn't smell too bad. Also, remember I said in the last show about video lighting? After I finished a show, I suddenly remembered I had one of those long double strip lights in the shed, which had been sat in there for a few years. Now, it used to be up in the garden. I used to actually have it out in the garden. It's one of those waterproof ones with rubber all around it. And I took it down a few years ago. I mean, I just never used it, so I took it off the wall and that was it, and put it in the shed and left it there. I'm one of those people, I'm afraid, who gets something down, takes something down or puts something away, but doesn't actually chuck it out in case it might be useful one day. Are you one of those? Do you have trouble putting things away? I'm really bad like that. The loft, it's not an attic, it's not big enough to be an attic. The loft is full of things. Just things. Including lots and lots of CDs. Now, music lovers everywhere would say, oh, you don't want to throw those away. You might play them one day. I don't think so. I really don't think so, and I think at some point I'm just going to pick the lot up and take them down to the charity shop. I've learned to take things to the charity shop. You may remember, again on the last show, I told you they're coming along to pick up the bed tomorrow, my double bed that had been here in the Britannia studio, the double bed, but it was in the way, so that's going. And next Tuesday, a new sofa bed is arriving. Guess where from? Oh, yes, you know where I like to buy large items. John Lewis. Oh, they said, what time did you want to pick? So I try to arrange a time when I know the neighbours are around so that they can see the John Lewis van pulling up outside my house and making my delivery. I mean, it wasn't a particularly expensive sofa bed. It was on special offer, and I managed to get this for £350. So quite pleased about that. Most of the sofa beds are like £500 plus. But the point is, if it's John Lewis selling it, it can't be rubbish, because they don't sell rubbish. It's as simple as that. I've learnt the lesson, right, to buy all my large items, furniture. If I buy a piece of furniture, next time I buy a bed, something like that, fridge freezers, fridges, televisions, anything like that, I will probably buy them now from John Lewis, because I mean, this isn't an advert for them. I'm just sharing my experiences. The service you get from them is second to none. If you're not happy with something, they will happily listen to you on the phone and try and sort it out, which is so unlike so many of these blooming electrical chain stores, and they are awful. I will never ever buy anything from one of those again. And you know the ones I mean. I'm not going to say them. You know the ones I mean. They fall over backwards to try and sell you something, but when it goes wrong, or if the delivery goes wrong or something like that, they are not interested. And it's no use one of them ringing me up now and say, yes, we do care. I've had experiences. And your service is hideous. Absolutely hideous. I'm surprised you managed to hold on to anyone, to be honest. I really am. So that's it. It's arriving from John Lewis next Tuesday between the hours of 7 a.m, which is okay, I don't mind. It's never going to get here at 7 a.m, but even if it does, it's not a problem. Between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon, my new sofa, and I shall be sitting here and doing my show from that in future. And then a couple of days after, guess who's coming again? James Dean is coming for another visit. Yes. And I've managed to con him into thinking that I've ordered the sofa bed just so that he won't have to sleep on the city. And of course he believes me. So that's that. I saw a little item on the news. Oh, by the way, we've got coming up in the show part 2 of our story, The Elves of Iceland, as written by Robert in Iceland. Okay, that's coming up in the show as well very shortly. What did you think of it? What did you think of that so far, eh? Having a little story running through the show. Maybe you'd like to write one yourself. We don't want any rudeness, though. It's a family programme, this. No rudeness, please. Huh? Maybe you'd like to write a little story yourself. Send it in. I could read it out. No, there's no payment. There's no payment. Robert did write to me last night and said, oh, we need to talk about my fee. I don't think so, dear. I don't get paid to do this, so why should you? Where do you think the money comes from? It's not growing on trees outside, dear. Unless, of course, you don't want me to eat for a while. Is that what it is, lovey? I mean, I could pay you and you know, cut down on the amount of food I eat. Maybe knock out a lunch or a breakfast or a dinner for a few days, just so that I can afford to put my hand in my pocket and pay you for your wonderful story. Part 2 of The Elves of Iceland coming up in the show. By the way, do you like the music behind it as well? Anyone know what that is? We'll run a competition. What is the music I use behind The Elves of Iceland? So when I start reading part 2 of that later on in the show, you have a listen to the music and see if you know what it is, okay? Now, a little thing I saw on the television today, which of course for you would be last week, apparently this TV host in, I think it was America somewhere, who runs I think it's some sort of crime program, has been ordering murders, okay? Literally murders. He's been ordering someone to kill someone else to boost his TV ratings. God, so, I mean, you have to laugh. I mean, dreadfully serious thing, that. Isn't it? This TV host has been ordering the murders of people to boost his TV ratings. That's dreadful, isn't it? Oh. So I'm wondering, you know, if perhaps I could bring in here to the Britannia studio someone to murder to increase the ratings of people who are listening and watch this. Now, what do you think of that idea? Does that sort of hold any response from you at all? Do you like the idea of that? Should I bring someone in here to murder? And it's funny how I should come out with this idea just as James Dean is about to make another visit, isn't it, really? I mean, read into that what you will. But we could kind of, I don't know if we want to do it live, you know, but yeah, we could have a couple of live murders here in the Britannia studios. Starting off with James Dean. What do you reckon? Now, is there anyone that you'd like me to invite into the studio to be murdered? It could be a celebrity, an ex of yours, perhaps, anything like that. And what we want is a list of people that you'd like me to do away with on camera and in audio, right? And I need to know how... Oh dear, I've just dropped... Just a minute. Oh, is that still working? Oh, God's sake, I just dropped my little sound recording device. Just a minute. I'll move my wires over. Yeah. So, who do you want murdered? We'll stick to celebrities, okay? We'll stick to celebrities. Don't start writing in about your ex-wives and husbands, boyfriends and girlfriends, please. Or the neighbour's pet dog down the road that keeps barking all the time and keeping you awake. We can't be doing that. Let's stick to celebrities, shall we? Celebrities and politicians. Which ones would you like me to invite here into the Britannia studio and murder, and what would be the method of execution? Do let me know. The email address of the show is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. We want the name of the person you want murdered, why you want them. It's no use, you know, plucking a few names out of the sky. No use plucking some names out of the sky and then just go, no, we need to know the name of the person you want murdered, the name of the celebrity or politician, whatever you want murdered, someone well known. I want to know why you want them murdered and also the method of execution. For example, if you want them gas, obviously, you know, I'm going to have to get the gas in. Right? Because there's no gas up here. I will have to personally go down to the local camping shop and purchase... Oh, I wonder how many of those I'd need. You know the little gas bottles? Is one enough? I don't know. I don't know. And how do you do that? Do you just put a hole in the middle of the thing and then just let it go? Oh, I never thought of that, dear. Oh. Or perhaps you don't want them killed. Perhaps you just want them punished. You know, like... I could chop their fingers off one at a time while they're screaming in agony in front of you. Would that boost the ratings to this programme? Do let me know. The email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. On a similar line, I was watching the news this morning, and they had on there the governor of the Bank of England, who's a portly-looking man with grey hair and thick glasses. I mean, I honestly don't think... I looked at his glasses and I thought, well, they wouldn't... Would they, you know where you can get those glasses made in an hour? We've got lots of those places. Well, I looked at those glasses and I don't think they took an hour to make. They were so thick, dear. But nevertheless, I'm listening to him talking about the UK economy and all that. And I quite like this guy. he talks in a way that I trust and like what he's saying. It's not always good what he's saying, talking about unemployment, how we're having money problems here in the country and all that, this, that and the other. But nevertheless, I trust what he says and I like the way he talks to me. That man I trust. And there are other people I think I trust on the television. Not all of them. Newsreaders. People I trust. Moira, is it Moira Anderson? Moira Stewart? I can never remember her name. Black lady newsreader, who's sadly no longer on the BBC News. Right? She, I trusted and I liked very much. Who else? Who else do I trust on the television? Bruce Forsyth. Bruce Forsyth, great entertainer, talks to me, I like him and I trust him. But there are other people on the telly or in newspapers and things like that that you just don't trust. Now take, and sometimes if they're in couples, you trust one and not the other. Now take, they've been in the news a lot recently, Peter Andre and Jordon, right? This is a couple, they've been together about 3 years. They got together in one of those jungle programmes on the television, one of those awful reality programmes in the jungle or something like that. They got together there and got married, this, that and the other, right? They've now split up. But right from the word go, I trusted and liked Peter Andre for what he said. And I never really trusted what she was saying. I almost thought it was just saying stuff to try and con people watching into believing what she wants you to believe. There's a big difference in that. Peter Andre speaks, even now in the newspapers, this, that and the other, and I kind of side with him and not with her. You know? So a couple of things there. Out of Peter Andre and Jordon, if you know the story, which one do you side with? Because you're going to side with one or the other, aren't you? Do you side with Peter Andre? Is he the one telling the truth and the nice guy? Or is it Jordon telling the truth and she's the nice girl? Which way round is it? Let me know. Chris at UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. I think other people I trust and like, the Queen. I trust and like the Queen. Right? Just a personal thing. I do. The Queen Mother, I used to trust and love very much the Queen Mother. Princess Anne. A little bit mouthy, but I like her. I'm a great fan of the royals. I'm just trying to think of other celebrities. Victoria Beckham. What about her? I don't think she tells lies, but I just don't like her. Don't know why. It's all, shall we say, false. It all seems so false. Does it to you? Do you like Victoria Beckham? What is it you like about her? Perhaps you like the way that she's been conning us all these years, telling us all that she can sing. Victoria Beckham, I don't know. I don't think she comes on the television and does interviews in order to pull the wool over her eyes. I wouldn't say she's like Jordon at all. Jordon, I feel, comes on there and just tells loads of lies and things to try and get us on her side. That's just how I feel, okay? But with Victoria Beckham, I don't think she necessarily tells us lots of lies. I don't think she's a liar or anything like that, but I just not keen on her at all. It's like, how on earth did she get to where she was without actually having much talent? I don't think she's got much talent. And it's all done by, I suppose, the marketing men and all that, isn't it? So my question to you is, do you trust certain people? Do you trust, if you're in America, do you trust Barack Obama more than you did George W. Bush? Why? Tell me why. If you're in the UK, do you trust Gordon Brown? Did you trust Tony Blair? Or look at your celebrities. Do you, if you've ever heard an interview with, shall we say, Elton John, do you believe what he's telling you? There's another one, I do. I think Elton John's straight down the line. I think he's brilliant. But maybe you don't. What is it that makes us watch people on the television, or indeed listen to them on the radio? And what is it that makes us trust some and not others? I watched this bloke, the governor of the Bank of England. I thought, I trust and believe every word you say. He seems to have come from, I don't know, a normal background. And he's chatting away, and I think, yeah, okay, I believe all that. But there are others. Peter Mandelson, another politician. Don't trust him as far as I could throw him. Don't like him at all. Why on earth he was brought back into government, I shall never know. There's a lot of back scratching going on like that at the moment. And I think that's going to muck him up before the next election. People will remember all this business. Jobs for the boys. Staying on politics, what about Mr. Cameron here in the UK? Do we trust him? Not sure on that one. I quite like him. Do I trust him yet? I don't know. And what about you? Who do you trust? And it can be a celebrity or a politician, someone well known. Who do you trust and who do you distrust? Not so much talking about like and dislike, although you can bring that into it as well if you want to. Come on, give us some names and tell us why. Use that email address or indeed the postal address. And the postal address coming up in a second. The email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Postal address is Chris Reardon. That's Reardon. United Kingdom Talk. P.O. Box 4073. Bracknell, Bracknell. RG429ED. Here it comes again. Chris Reardon. United Kingdom Talk. P.O. Box 4073. Bracknell, Bracknell. RG429ED. United Kingdom. All right. Do feel free to send a letter in now and again. It's nice to have a letter in the post, especially as the post box costs so much, dear. £120 a year, that is, for that blooming post office box, isn't it, dear? Just to have a box. God's sake. Right, so there we are. People you trust, people you don't trust, like or dislike. Let us know. Come on, give us some names. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. You can, of course, include my name on the people that... Do you trust me? Actually, there's one for you. And be honest, do you trust the things I tell you, or am I making it all up? Huh? How much of what I say is actually true, and how much isn't true, if any of it? Be interested to hear that. And what bits of what I tell you about myself do you think are true, and what bits do you think are not true? Tell me what you think about that. No one's ever written in about that. Sort of, I don't believe that you worry so much about your weight or anything like that. Come on, write in and let me know. If you ever want it private, incidentally, you can always send me a private email, not for reading out on air. If you want to ever ask anything, any advice on anything that you might think I'm able to help with, then I'll always provide you with an answer, always email you back. I tend not anymore to use the instant messaging thing, okay? Whether it's MSN or Skype or the instant Facebook message thing, I don't really use those. However, the reason being is that often, you know, you open up these applications on the computer and while you're doing something, maybe I'm in the office doing the accounts or indeed editing one of these shows together or something like that, and messages pop up on there. Hi Chris, how are you? I'm fine. You know, you type back, fine, what do you want? Nothing, I'm just saying hello. Which is very nice, but it just stops you doing things. No one else has written ever about this subject, and I've brought it up a couple of times. Do you not find the instant message thing stops you doing things? Other people would say, well, fair enough, don't open it then. Trouble is, if someone like, and we do have a laugh with, usually at James Dean's expense now and again, but sometimes, you know, I'll fire it up and he's got something important to ask or say, perhaps about one of his shows or anything like that. And if you don't have it opened up, then you don't receive the important messages. It's the unimportant messages like, hello, how are you, that waste time. And you're trying to do something. I can understand people in offices around the world bored out of their tiny little minds, sitting there, so they fire up the app, so they're talking to people to try and pass the... I understand that. But for someone like me who's in front of the computer quite a lot, and doing stuff all the time, to have messages flush up, hi, how are you, but not actually saying anything, and it stops you getting on with the task that you're actually sitting in the office to do. Does anyone find that, or am I being a bit miserable there? Tell me exactly what you think, okay? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Emails and Facebook messages, by the way, if you haven't got my Facebook yet, that's Chris Reardon UK. Chris Reardon UK is my Facebook. If you ever send a Facebook message, you know, on the kind of Facebook email system, then I'll always respond to that with another one, or an email to Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. You'll always get an answer, unless it's a show email in which I'll read it out and answer it to you on the show. If you ever want to put private, can I ask you something? Then I'll private message you back, okay? Or private email you back, and it won't be read out on the show. Just put at the top there, not for broadcast, or private email to you, something like that. But the instant messages, I rarely go on to those anymore. So if you do send us one of those, you might not get an answer. All right, my darlings, please don't think I'm being miserable. It just stops you doing stuff. Come on, someone else must experience this as well. Does anyone else agree or disagree with that? Please let me know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right? Now, shall we read the second part of this thing? Oh, I was telling you about the lights. Yes, I went into the shed and I found a long 5 foot one. You know, a double strip light. One of those double strip lights. So I went in the shed, got it out of the shed, attached a new wire, plugged it in, and it all works. So I've actually got that in front of me today, because remember, I was going to order some proper video lighting, but actually, I think this has sorted out the problem. And it is much brighter in here now. I thought it was a little bit dim. Like myself, actually, a little bit... Oh, come on, I'm not the brightest penny in your pocket, am I? Especially if I've been in your pocket a long time, and I've been accused of being in people's pockets, even when they're still wearing the trousers. Now, what else have I got to tell you about? Oh, look, I'll tell you what. Let's read some more of our story. Okay, written by Robert in Iceland. It's part 2 of The Elves of Iceland. I'll start off the story today with a little bit from the last episode. Bingapus said, "Oh, Swinky, I love you so. but I must first journey forth to the land of Bretland to slay the lowland troll that hath stolen our gold from our lands. I shall return in a year and a day to claim my love. It should be noted that when elves, and certainly warrior elves, claim their love, well, it can be an interesting time for all. Swinkychop says, of this troll that you speak, I know him to be a most monstrous beast. My clan doth know him by the old name of Brownie. Before he drank the magical waters of the Thames and took human form. Bingle, you must be careful, and if, after a year and a day, you have not come back to me, then as your bond love I shall set forth to find you. And upon that day, we watched the two lovers part, one to return to the land and the cliffs, and the other to adventure. The year and the day passed, with no sign of his love, and so he made ready to leave the little island that had been his home. By the time the shore came into sight, the wind had dropped, followed by the first snowfall of the winter. Pinglydale said, Swinky, you promised me an answer to my question about the nature of this fortune to which we seek. And although you have not said as much as I be thinking, that it be to do with yours, Binglepuss. Swinkychop says, my brother, you are the elder, thou art not the wiser. You have a heart that is the size of a dragon. I go in search of my love, you are correct. I know that our clan leader would not have let me go on my own. We are farmer elves that work the cliffs to harvest the eggs of the former bird. But I know, brother, that we are more than that. Our mother hath told us so. Pinglydale says, Swinky, our mama was a warrior elf, you know this, and Papa was banker elf, who had fallen from grace when the great troll Brownie had took our gold. And so it was that the two brothers talked into the night as they made their way up from the harbour and towards the house of Etla. Etla was the aunt upon their mother's side, and hence a warrior elf, born of the elf clan of Strathbackie. The house of Etla nestled under the mountain overlooking the harbour. Etla was married, or, in elf culture, was said to be gifted to a fisher elf called Tinglepaws. The house of Etla was both large and very comfortable. Upon the wall hung swords and shields that told of stories past and the battles fought and never lost. For that is the way of the elves. The table was set with all manner of foods and drink. Fermented shark and pickled mouse heads took pride of place upon the table. This gathering had long been in the making, and hence there would be a feast upon the evening that would lay the first footsteps upon the path to restore the stolen gold. Etla says, Come on in now, both of you. 'Tis not the night to be travelling, and yet 'tis the night of the gathering. Peter, your mamma hath told me so of your heart, and it is so we gather now to form the troop of elves. Swinkypaws says, Etla Min, it's good to be here at last. I bring from this year's crop the finest of the former eggs, And from my Pabby Min, I bring the map of lost fortune, of which you ask, and which I bring. There we are. Part 2 of our story, The Elves of Iceland. Part 3 coming in the next episode here of United Kingdom Talk. All right, don't go. We haven't finished yet. Got another. How long we got? Got another 15 minutes yet. Don't worry. Hope you're liking our story. What do you think of it? Let us know on the email, okay? Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Do you know what the music is? Any idea what the music is? Go on, have a guess. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Right. Where are we going now? Just a minute. Let me sort my bits of paper out here. Oh, I don't want to put. 1 second. Right, that's our next part of the story there. Oh, an email here from Irving Distiller, talking about one of the photos in my photo album, Various Pictures 2009. Now, you can find that photo album again on my Facebook. My Facebook's Chris Reardon UK. And if you want to have a look at my sunflowers, I've got pictures of them in there. Various Pictures 2009. And I'm standing in front of them in a rather crumpled up T-shirt. I also have now placed on that site 2 topless pictures of me. You lucky ladies. I don't know why. Well, everyone else seems to do it, so I thought I might as well do the same myself. Irvin Distiller writes, "Look out, that is not a sunflower. I saw one of those creatures in a science fiction movie. The flower bent over and ate its victim from the head down. All we'd have left for the services would be a pair of old tatty trainers." That must be awful, being eaten from the head down, because then you wouldn't be able to shout for help, would you? You know, you just have 2 little legs going backwards and forwards out the mouth of the said sunflower. All very worrying. Thank you, Wayne. Don't hear from you much anymore, Wayne. I know that you've decided to join many other shows. I often hear you talking to Tommy Boyd on the telephone. Isn't it funny how we all sort of know each other now, and have kind of created this network of friends and podcasts and radio shows? Isn't it brilliant? I just think it's brilliant. Wanted to show you something that amused me the other day. Those of you watching the show may notice I have a black backdrop behind me, which I've actually had in the cupboard for a long time. It's just been sitting there. That's behind me. And I got this email from a camera shop, I think. And it's advertising black backdrop, black 10 by 12 inch, which isn't very big, is it? It says these backdrops are available in 3 basic colours, and it tells you the sizes. And then it's got a picture of a large, just a minute, let me just get up there, of a large black dot indicating the colour of of the black backdrop that they're selling. And it did kind of amuse me a little bit. What colour is it? Black, and then it's got a big black square on there, as if you wouldn't know what that was. So that kind of amused me this week. Also, Richard in London sent me a very worrying picture of someone who was recharging his mobile phone at home. And it's got a picture just at that time, as he'd plugged the thing in, a call came in, and he answered with the phone that was still connected to the electrical plug. After a few seconds, electricity flowed into the cell phone unrestrained, and the young man was thrown to the ground with a heavy thud. His parents rushed into the room, only to find him unconscious with a weak heartbeat and burnt fingers. He was rushed to the nearby hospital, but was pronounced dead on arrival. So what they're saying is never use a mobile phone, or in America, I know you call them cell phones, don't you? Never use a mobile phone when it's connected to the electrical socket. And picture was provided of the man's fingers, which are extremely burnt, and the state of his bedroom, where the mobile phone clearly was, and another picture there of what was left of the bed, which is pretty nasty. Now, my guess is he would have. My guess is it wasn't a approved charging device, because you can buy the original Nokia one or Samsung or Sony one, but they do tend to be rather expensive, don't they? That's the thing, the approved ones. You can buy cheaper versions, and quite often they're very, very cheap, just a few pounds, made somewhere else, I don't know, wherever. But they're not approved. And my guess is he was using an unapproved one. Now, I don't understand how it's possible for power from the mains to flow straight into that mobile phone. Because surely the way a transformer works is by two large... Sorry, if you're not technical, you won't get this, but there'll be a lot of people who understand this. I thought those transformers worked by having, like, two coils, which are actually not physically in contact with each other. Isn't that the way the transformers work? So you've got one on one side of the transformer, you've got your 240 volts, or in the States 120 or whatever it is, 120 over there. And on the other side of the coil, you've got the section that picks up that and transforms it to whatever the mobile phone is, 12 volts, I don't know what it is, 12 volts I think it is. And there's no actual connection between the two, is there? Doesn't it just kind of receive the, oh, what's it called now? The magnetic field. Isn't that how it works? I'm sure there's no connection between the two. So I'm not actually sure how something like that could happen. Maybe we've got anyone technical listening to the show, then let us know what you think about that, because I'm not quite sure how that works. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right. Now, what else we got here? Oh, my sister's mother-in-law, so that's her husband's mother, has recently had her cataracts done. Now, I've known a few people to have this actually done. I think my father had his done, and he said it's marvellous once it's done and that. Another old lady who I haven't spoken about for a long time, May, who used to go to the same swimming pool as me. She's well into her 80s now. I think she's about 88, something like that. She recently had a fall, and the trouble is, when old people fall down, they tend to take a very, very long time to heal, and it's taken her forever to heal from this broken bone I think she's got. Anyway, Doreen, who's my sister's mother-in-law, Martin is my brother-in-law, mother, she's recently had her cataracts done. Do you know how long it took them to do it? Go on, have a guess. How long do you think it takes for cataracts to be done? 7 minutes. Unbelievable, isn't it? 7 minutes. Apparently it's such a routine operation. Unfortunately, she read the leaflet before telling her what they would do. I have a feeling, and I think they do that a lot with various different operations here now in the UK. You get a leaflet. As long as you're not going in as an emergency, you know. I mean, obviously, if you're if you're having a heart attack and you've been brought in by an emergency ambulance, you probably haven't got time to read the leaflet that they provide you with before you have the operation done. It's just madness, right? But when you're going in for other serious, I think it's a serious operation. Some people say, "Oh, it's just routine now." It's a serious operation now, you know. Because if they get it wrong, I don't know how it works, but if they get it wrong, don't they have to? Oh, I hate talking about things like this. Don't they have to cut a bit out your eye, or make an incision in the side of your eye and pull this lens thing out? You know, if they miss with that cut thing, then you're blind, aren't you? Yeah, you think about it. So I think it's a serious operation. Anyway, took him 7 minutes. And she says, it's instantly better. She can see marvellous now, which is just brilliant. It's just so fantastic. And I've said so many times before, some of the things that they can do now. And I've also mentioned to you before that here in the UK, such an operation is free for us. It's free. Run by the NHS, free at the point. Okay? I'm wondering how much, and someone in the States will be able to tell me this, how much in the USA would it cost for you to have your cataracts done? You know, that misty lens pulled out of your eyes. How much would that cost you? Indeed, what other countries are you in? Anyone else in a country other than the UK and USA, would you have to pay for a cataract operation? And how much would it cost you? Do let us know. I'm just interested in that. And so would other people here in the UK who watch or listen to the show. We'd be interested because for us it's free. We're so lucky with the NHS in this country. We really are. How much would it cost you wherever you are? Let us know. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Have you had your cataracts done? Are you of that age where, you know, everything was a little bit misty in front of you? You went in hospital and your cataracts done, and how fantastic is it afterwards? I want to know. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. I've incidentally got rid of the lamp that was on the side there. Not very nice comments coming in about my lovely lamp, especially from my friend Ron, who's still in Sri Lanka at the moment. Did I tell you he's in Sri Lanka? Oh, yes. He's there for 18 days. And I actually got a text. He didn't like my lamp. He hated the lamp. And someone else says, oh, I don't like the lamp, so I've got rid of that. The lamp is actually sitting down there on the floor next to me. Lamp. Right? Because you didn't like it. I don't know what the lamp did against you or anyone else, but there we are. It's gone now. Do we need another lamp in front of us there? I don't know. Anyway, he's on holiday at the moment in Sri Lanka with his other half, and they're having a marvellous time. And he texted me this morning at 8 o'clock. We've just woken up and we're going out for breakfast shortly, followed by a walk on the beach. Lucky. I can't find anyone to go on holiday with. I really can't. I'm fed up going on my own. I want to go to Australia again. Sadly, funnily enough, I should mention that, but I stayed at a resort in Australia, which was in Queensland, and it was the most beautiful place ever. And I've got an email from them this morning telling me that they've sold the resort, and they've got some special deals on at the moment, running until mid-September, and of course that's no good to me. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I hope that whoever's bought the resort will do it up or keep it kind of running as it is. But if not, it will be such a shame because it's the most beautiful place I've ever been to. This resort in Australia, which is a great shame. Anyway, so Ron and his other half, they've gone to to Sri Lanka, and it took them an extra day to get there, unfortunately, because there was a delay at Heathrow Airport. So apparently they had to get a plane from Heathrow to Dubai, and then another plane from Dubai to Sri Lanka, because he loves Dubai. My mate Ron, he loves Dubai. He was actually talking about living there at one point, but I don't think that's ever going to happen somehow. So he was stuck in Dubai. Now, to me, that would be a nightmare. That would be an absolute nightmare. Now, admittedly, the airline company, I'm not quite sure who he went with, put them up in a hotel in Dubai for the night, so they were able to go out. And, of course, what did he do? He went out shopping and bought another overpriced bag. He bought, and it wouldn't tell me how much it is yet, but I know it would have been inexpensive. It would have had a label on it, something like Gucci or something like that. And it's bad enough people spending money on clothes. Expensive shirts and expensive jeans, expensive shoes. I never understand people who spend money on expensive underwear. I just don't understand that at all. In similar lines, I do not understand people who spend a fortune on a bag. My niece had a lovely expensive bag bought for her apparently by her boyfriend at Christmas time. I think it was at Christmas time. She got this expensive bag. I don't get it. What is all that about? Spending money on something that you're just going to carry things around in. I don't get it, dear. Do you? People are so proud. Ron's another one. He's got all these expensive bags in his cupboard. It's bad enough when you can get through all the shirts that are in there. Would you spend a fortune, like £500 or £600, on something such as simple as a bag? I don't get it. The supermarkets still provide free or very, very cheap carrier bags, and that's what I take all my bits and pieces around in, a nice carrier bag from Sainsbury's. That's it for the show today. As always, thanks for watching and listening. Do join in on the email, okay? It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'll see you on the next show. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.